Boom! Yeah, I wake up this morning and bed. So right now I'm feeling so clean. I work hard and I don't get paid. So then nothing could flop my day. So I go in full 100 all the way. I come in right down till I lie down. Yeah, right down till I lie down. I come in right down till I lie down. And not one thing could have me tied down. I come in right down till I lie down. Right down till I lie down. I come in right down till I lie down. And not one thing could have me tied down. Ah, oh, party nice, nice, nice. Ah, oh, party sweet. Yeah, ah, oh, I'm feeling high, high, high. Ah, oh, we out the street. Boom, hype again. Casamigos all night again. Sean Paul give me the light again. The general get another stripe again. Hot girls coming on my side again. Time for the plumber run pipe again. Fireworks place ignite again. I high like a fighter plane. I wake up this morning and dead. So right now I'm feeling so clean. I work hard and I don't get paid. So then nothing could flop my day. So I go in full 100 all the way. I jam in right down till I lie down. Yeah, right down till I lie down. I jam in right down till I lie down. And not one thing could have me tied down. I jam in right down till I lie down. Right down till I lie down. I jam in right down till I lie down. And not one thing could have me tied down. Right down till I lie down. Yeah, right down till I lie down. I jam in right down till I lie down. And not one thing could have me tied down. I jam in right down till I lie down. Right down till I lie down. I jam in right down till I lie down. And not one thing could have me tied down. Jam in right down till I lie down. Yeah, right down till I lie down. I jam in right down till I lie down. And not one thing could have me tied down. I jam in right down till I lie down. Right down till I lie down. I jam in right down till I lie down. And not one thing could have me tied down. Boom! Yeah, I wake up this morning and bed. Now I'm feeling so clean. I work hard and I don't get paid. So then nothing could flop my day. So I go in full 100 all the way. I come in right down till I lie down. Yeah, right down till I lie down. I come in right down till I lie down. And not one thing could have me tied down. I come in right down till I lie down. Right down till I lie down. I come in right down till I lie down. And not one thing could have me tied down. Ah, oh, party nice, nice, nice. Ah, oh, party sweet. Yeah, ah, oh, I'm feeling high, high, high. Ah, oh, we out the street. Boom, hype again. Casamigos all night again. Sean Paul give me the light again. The general get another stripe again. Hot girls coming on my side again. Time for the plumber run pipe again. Fireworks place ignite again. I high like a fighter plane. I wake up this morning and dead. So right now I'm feeling so clean. I work hard and I don't get paid. So then nothing could fly.
My girl, you think squeezing me? So tight till it's squeezing me. Hey, problem go call the locksmith. After see me so she get wet like maxing. Hey,
pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight.
What you say?
Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight.
Hey,
pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight. Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight, tight.
Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight. That's why. Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight. Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight. That's why. Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, 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 tight. My turn.
Sit down on it, girl, ride like a bicycle.
Ride it
tight. You like cucumber, no, you don't like
it. Girl, tight up. When you don't shrink it, I will slap it up. Cause you pretty like Jada Pinkett. Girl, I ball out when me think it. Wine and quint it like Titanic, me sink it.
Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight. Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight. Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight. Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, 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 tight.
Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight. That's why. Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight. Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight. That's why.
girl, pretty tight, tight. Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight. Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, 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 tight.
Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight. Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight. Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, tight. Pretty tight, girl, pretty tight, 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 tight.
Tight, tight like size 10 in a size 9 shoes tight. Tight, tight. Wine for me, baby.
Girl, tight up. When you don't shrink it, I will slap it up. Now you're pretty like Jada Pinkett. Girl, I ball out when me think it. Wine and quint it like Titanic, me sink it.
Tight, set tight, just set tight, set tight, just set tight, set tight, just set tight, set tight.
All right, my girl, you think squeezing me?
I'm spending a bag tonight. Oh God.
The money run, the money run, the money run, the money run. The money run, the money run, the money run. The money run, the money run, the money run. I just get paid. Tell me when the party day. You see when I get the money. I gonna spend some pan liquor, spend some pan partying, spend some pan woman, spend some pan traveling, spend some pan drip drip, spend some pan niceness.
It's been a while, I ain't have a good time. Made it through the grind, so now I celebrating my life. Eh, don't get vexed if you see me out and bad and I nice. Louis and Gucci, I work hard for that, so don't mind. You too envious and bad mind.
Oh, you're gonna live, I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live.
I'm gonna live so long me. Don't try kill my vibe. Watch me, they don't wanna see me happy. I'm not spending your money.
I just get paid. Tell me when the party day. I gonna spend some pan liquor, spend some pan partying, spend some pan woman, spend some pan traveling, spend some pan drip drip, spend some pan niceness. Them say life is short, it don't long. And when you're dead, bank account not go with no man. Oh yeah, so work hard and save. Angle your business. Make sure you are invest. When I get the interest, oh, you're gonna live. I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live. You know thanks and praise I forgive. Keep a vibe and stay positive. I got the bread and I spend it on my feel. Accountant don't know what to do. Yeah. I just get paid. Tell me when the party day.
Oh God.
I gonna spend some pan liquor, spend some pan partying, spend some pan woman, spend some pan traveling, spend some pan drip drip, spend some pan niceness.
Party night. I'm spending a bag tonight. I know Wale. Motoda. Yeah. Yo, started. Johnny Blaze, wanna tell you this story about this lady. I know you from somewhere. I don't know. I remember you from somewhere. Yes, I remember that one you give But I remember that smooth waist. Did I meet you in the Juve? Or was it the carnival day? Could have been a upstill party. Could have been a Scotch inclusive. Maybe a dry party somewhere. I don't know, I know you from somewhere. I don't know, I don't know. I know you from somewhere. Somewhere. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. I remember you from somewhere. Somewhere. Yes, I remember that wine. That one you give me 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 sweet wine. Sweet wine you give me sweet wine. Sweet wine you give me sweet wine. Sweet wine you give me sweet wine. Oh, yo. I'm the one I waste no time. I just wanna jam you harder. Oh, baby, harder. Baby, I'm the one I waste no time. Just come, let me jam you harder. Oh, baby, harder. You man, I don't know. I know you from somewhere. Somewhere. I don't know. I remember you from somewhere. Somewhere. Yes, I remember that wine. That one you give me 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 sweet wine. Sweet wine you give me sweet wine. Sweet wine you give me sweet wine. Sweet wine you give me sweet wine. Oh, yo. I don't really remember, baby. I was probably drunk like a skunk. Motoda, you might be up yourself in a tribe. Team Fox, Scotch, J-Upscale, Brixmas. I don't remember you know. But I know you from somewhere. Motoda. Anuale. Motoda. Yeah. Yo, start it. Johnny Blaze, wanna tell you this story about this lady. I don't know. I know you from somewhere. I don't know. I remember.
It's back by popular demand. Bajan Rhythm and Rhyme, powered by BIM Got Talent and presented by Sluggy Dan every Saturday on VOB 92.9 FM from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Don't miss it. Bajan Rhythm and Rhyme, powered by
WhatsApp 851-1101.
Wil je nog eens een keer? Dat is ja alsjeblieft blijft.
We bashing it. The making of a musical genre and the evolution of music. Now, this discussion tonight is going to be interesting. It's going to be enlightening. It's going to be absolutely electric because we have a wonderful panel this evening. We have a band. We actually have a live band. So I'm here going to see something this evening that we've never seen before in Barbados. This type of discussion. Now, over the last couple of weeks, the airwaves have blown up with lots of discussion. Social media, my social media pages have been lit with lots of discussion on bashment and whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's
early every
harmful
day,
for our
brother. It's
nation,
early
or whether
every
it's
single
something we
day.
want to expose our children to.
They
Now,
don't
this
sleep, dog. They're
evening, we're
always
going to be
studying
having a
youth
rich
projects,
discussion on
all
this
studying
topic,
online
and
projects,
I'm
all
going to
studying
introduce
radio
my panel to
programs.
you.
They don't sleep.
We have right next to me Kevin
They don't sleep,
Sluggy
brother.
Watson. He's on my left. Vocalist, entrepreneur, director of Bim's Got Talent, and one of our very own crossover ambassadors for the NCF. To my further left, we have Fabian Sargent, well-known social worker, men's advocate, founder
Getting out
and
all his
president
lips.
of Men's Empowerment Network
You
Support.
don't sleep neither, SK boy.
Welcome, Fabian. Welcome, Sluggy Dan. We have on my immediate right Randy Eastman. I think one of the brainchilds behind this, because I think it was Randy and Fabian who got this whole idea going. Randy is a well-known music producer in Barbados, an educator par excellence, if I do say so myself, one of my colleagues, and an event coordinator, very well known, very well talented Randy Eastman. And we have as well my further right, Dr. Stefan Walker. I'm sure equally very well known. He's a composer and youngish who loves the Caribbean. He's a lecturer at both the Barbados Community College and the University of the West Indies, Cape Hill.
Watch your ragged. No.
And we have joining us remotely, the very well known as well. Fire! People on this panel.
Big Rastaman, you making sauce?
Sports.
You making sauce to sell?
I would say media.
You can make sauce. You making sauce to sell.
Personality, aspiring attorney at law, and he will be joining the discussion remotely this evening. And I am your host. I'm Dr. Denise J. Charles, a cultural practitioner, author, and educator as well. And I'm very, very interested in this discussion this evening, pointing my 2 cents worth as well. But just to set the context for our discussion this evening, what exactly is bashment? Now, there's a lot that has been said about bashment. Bashment, soca, is described as a strain of soca, which is indigenous to Barbados, but which draws influence from Jamaica's dancehall.
Okay, that's sound. Okay.
Back, but it has been made popular in recent years in Barbados. Its initial social and dancehall has largely been pretty negative, unfavorable. Traditionally, people have not separated the music style and the lyrics in bashment soca. Bashment is seen as rude and crude, and the music is seen as one that encourages rude and crude behavior or even deviant behaviors. And we all know, when we think back of music and how music evolves and changes, that even years and years and years ago, when I was a little girl, we had the whole issue of banjo music in church not being seen as something that was kosher or something that should be accepted. But then as years went by, we embraced bells, we embraced promise. So things change. Why is it any different with bashment? So we're going to be plunging into this discussion this evening, but I'm just going to throw out some questions that will not be answered now, but will create a kind of context for what we're going to be talking about. What exactly makes up a musical genre? Can genres evolve, and what contributes to their evolution? Can the lyrics and the mood of music be separated? Is bashment both the lyrics and the music? Can we separate the social origins of music from the beat or the rhythm? Has this not been done in other genres like the same dance hall and rap? Are these musical styles not used by a range of artists, even gospel artists and by conscious lyricists? Does the social and cultural association of a particular genre of music dominate how it can be interpreted and used in the future? Now, these and other questions are going to form the fodder for our discussion this evening. So I'm going to start by inviting these panelists
Start with that
to
Big
give me
Mouth
just
eat
a
was so
2-minute
small.
synopsis of bashment and the evolution of music as they see it. We're going to start with
But I want to ask everyone to go on to eat. You make us things to eat.
What a place to start. because I'm probably one of the least musically inclined persons on the panel, you know. My concept when I hear bashment, and I can speak to my interpretation initially of bashment, I hear a rhythm that impacts the body in such a way that it wants you to move, and a lot of the movement that you get that's associated with the rhythm is real sexual. A lot of negativity is associated with it, generally. And then when we even look at the lyrics that follows that beat or rhythm, as you guys call it, a lot of the lyrics in many instances are extremely rude. There is content that I would not want for children, and I think that is where the challenge really comes generally in recent times, when there was the thought, or there is the involvement of children into this whole concept of bashment music. So you're thinking, okay, you have this music that people just walk up and get on bad and do bad, and you hear a lot of sexual lyrics. How is it that you got big professionals and want to get little children involved in this type of activity? And I think that is what evoked a lot of the attention and a lot of the concern in the public. And I would say that I am guilty of that too, because I too was concerned initially when I heard of it. And that is where the conversation between me and Randy happened. And then let's like to this. Yes, maybe before the conversation between me and Randy, that me a sluggy. So I call Randy first.
I want this to happen to me. Can you repeat the question?
I just want a synopsis, 2 minutes. What in your opinion is bashment, and how do you feel about it? And how do you feel about the evolution of music?
Did I see about it?
But that's what he said. How you feel about it?
Okay, you ready?
Oh yeah.
All right, Randy.
All right. For me, bashment is a modern permutation of the calypso genre. We all know that the calypso genre has many subgenres. It would have started with Bajan dub initially, and it has evolved over time in terms of the style, the lyrical content, the rhythm. I made a post on Facebook the other day, and I said genres are fundamentally defined by rhythm, and we all know that genres also have other elements and components which comprise them: harmonic structure, lyrical content, melodic structure as well. But the bashment soca has particular qualities: the Bajan dialect on top of what we call a drum and bass type rhythm. And over the years, we've seen, as Fabian said, some lyrics which cause persons to gyrate in a particular manner. However, I do believe the bashment rhythm, in the clinical sense, can be used for social commentary, right? And when I say that, I mean lyrical content as a social commentary, where you can speak to issues in society. Because if we look at the history of Bajan dub or dancehall, it speaks to things happening in the society, bringing things to the fore. So anything that deals with a social issue can be a social commentary. And I think we need to separate the issue of the informal culture and then the formal definition and clinical definition of what bashment soca is as a genre. So what Fabian spoke to in terms of those negative connotations is really the informal culture of bashment, but we're going to speak specifically throughout the discussion to bashment soca as a genre. So those were my introductory remarks.
I like that, and we're going to come back to that because we want to tackle whether or not they can be separated. All right, that's what.
Right. So I wrote about this a couple years ago. The bashment soca, what people are calling bashment soca now, was not what was called bashment soca back in the early 2000s when Jabe and many were playing the scene.
Right.
That was a fast soca, completely removed from what we know as bashment. When the competition had to be started by Yellow, I believe it's they that rebranded the music that was originally Bajan dub as bashment soca, right? So now we have now everybody confusing what was Bashment Soca before, what Beijing done, and putting it all together in one pile and mixing it together. Right? Everywhere not have this amnesia and recognize that before the Beijing dub, what Lorette was doing, what Peter was doing in 1990s is what we call Bashment Soca today.
Correct.
And originally when that started, that stuff was all social commentary because the guy who recorded the music, Shane Badu, said, you know what, I do not want any slackness. He said this in an interview. He doesn't want any slackness or these artists he's recording in his Sound Good studio. So he said he wanted to differentiate himself from the Jamaican dancehall. So that's why Lorette had the conscious song, We Don't Know, with Youths, that was recorded by him. Quicksand, all of these songs which were social commentary in the traditional Calypsonian way, thinking about economic, social issues from a working class perspective, right? That's what they were doing in the 90s. That is the bedrock of the Bashment Soca, what we call Bashment Soca, the original Beijing dub that was based on social commentary. So when we get now attempt to get young people singing it, to me is a return to the roots, is a return to the authentic original Beijing dub, which Lorette and people like Peter Ram to some extent were putting out back in the day. And those are big, big songs, ABC, by Lorette, etc. All of these songs now with that element of metaphor, humor, plus speaking about working class.
Okay, so I forgot you.
Yes, please. For me, culture, I understand Fabian's plight because culture does define music mainly. I used to think, and I'm studying and so on, we've even talked about the great Dr. Stefan Walker. I used to believe that, musical elements would make up a genre, but I don't believe that any longer because I hear Jack Ure sing R&B songs, and the boy would never call it R&B. Bob Marley sing songs that no one know Creole Redemption song. People just call Redemption song a reggae song, and there's no way on earth Redemption song could ever be a reggae song, but people call it reggae. Why? Because it's Bob Marley and that the culture attached to it. So within the culture, there's always got the good and the bad. Like Lieutenant Stitchy and Cartel sing the same music.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because gospel music not a genre. The genre be dub, soca, clips, or whatever. So Stitchy and Cartel both sing the same genre. But of course, the content is the same. The culture is the same still. Because you got certain roots to contribute. So when you go to a gospel concert that got dancehall, you can see people parking the same way people can party to a Cartel concert. So certain elements can be still the same way, but the negative connotation and the content is different. So that way do understand Fabian's flight. So I guess the answer to a person like him, Quams, would be, let me do it the right way, you know what I mean? Let me do it the right way.
Even you talk about the cross-pollination of genres. If you look at the same Cartel and his song Ramping Shot, I think that's a sample of Neo's song,
Now, what y'all are all saying is extremely interesting. And I want to piggyback on something that Dr. Walcott said just now, because at the end of the day, while you all have your official definitions or even your personal perspectives, the issue is that as this has been out there bandied about in the public domain, many people, I'm not saying all, because you had people calling who are also very supportive of it being in the competition, etc. The issue is that as people see it and as they interpret it, they're not thinking about the roots, they're not thinking about the history, they may not even know, right? They may not even understand this whole thing that this has been around and they're now trying to get back to the original and all that. They're just thinking that the bashment that they hear, that they see being performed, the culture as they see it, but they're linking the two. So we have to educate the public so that they can separate, because people are getting curious because they're thinking of the culture, they're thinking about the walking up and the juking down and all of that there, and the cocking up of the feet and all of that. That's what they're thinking about, and they're thinking, hey, how can you possibly expose children to this? So yeah.
Good morning, Sweetness.
I can never see the NCF allowing a child to go on stage and generate in that manner. I've had the privilege of working there and doing events for the NCF. I can never see that happening. And based on my understanding thus far of how it's structured, it is the same junior monarch competition, and the NCF has allowed the children and the writers to write within 3 genres to express themselves. They choose to write either in the traditional calypso genre, the soca genre, or bashment soca.
That's right.
So you will have a social commentary approach using the different subgenres of it. So
Exactly.
that is
Up
why
early enough.
the others are kind of who may have greater skin.
You see, there's so much negativity that
Get up early enough.
permeates the entire society. We have challenges with families, with young people, mothers, fathers, and the list goes on and on. And I guess I need to highlight
He wasn't
Gun for you
feeling
as
well.
well.
He
That
wasn't
is a
feeling
big
well.
one,
What
you know. Only tonight I was there
seems to be
listening
the
to a
problem?
song, and I even draw it to Randy's attention before the discussion. And it started with
So
gun click.
tell us what
It
seems
started with
to be the problem with you.
the click of a gun or something like that. And then Randy explained to me
There's somebody's name.
What are you
that
sitting
is
with?
somebody's name, you know. And people in society generally will be a bit uneasy, but the musicians will see it through a different lens because you're looking at, as Randy put it, the critical side of it.
Oh, you better
You're
hear
looking
it.
at the musicality of it. Where now we,
You better
from
go
the
surgery.
social end, you're looking at the social impacts
Your
and what
stomach
you're
was hurting?
seeing, because a lot of the negativity, a lot of the negative music that is put out there is what people are hearing, that's what they're seeing, and that is what bashment is associated with, you know.
Morning,
Forget what
Yolan. Morning,
Stefan said,
Yolan. Big
you
up.
know, in relation to the
Big up,
evolution
Yolan.
and where it came from, and even
Yolan, you
Randy
put
in
the
terms
snow
of
wake you
the
up.
informal versus formal. But as Benny said, the average man on the road will see what Lady Essence is singing, and it will be very specific. You'll be seeing what sometimes
So what are your
Stiffy
plans for
singing,
today?
and the list goes on. And sometimes when we look at some of the lyrics, they're adult. There's adult content.
We don't
There's
do you
adult
leave him with
content.
the
So people are
today?
saying that
Any
adult
market?
content and associating children with that content.
What are your
We
plans
have a
for
comment
today?
just
Going
now
in the
from
market?
someone online, and
Jan
this is
Phillips.
Jan Phillips, and this is very much linked to where it was going, because I'm wondering, can we really separate the lyrics from the mood that the music creates? Because Jan is suggesting that when she hears Bashment, she want to walk up and down stage. That's what she wants to do. And when she hears it, it creates that in her. Is that just a personal thing to her? Is it something that we
It was
can
okay.
agree to be different on? Or is it that the music was created
Wasn't that eventful?
for that particular mood, and to think of doing something different
It
with
wasn't
it
that
is
eventful.
crazy.
You had a
What
good
I
night.
need to hear. I think I give my team a chance to pull up the video that we excerpt, because that's an interesting point. So
You and your
rhythm
four fellas?
definitely will want to make you move. Like at the end of the day,
Okay.
are you going to walk up and fall on the ground to someone saying, "Put your hand in the ear for the Lord," or I don't want to see negativity in the society, right? At some point, you're going to recognize that this person is singing there. I didn't want to bring an excerpt on screen at this point. I think this is probably appropriate time.
Exactly, and we're going to go to that. And I just want to stick in here very quickly something that's like you said, because I've been to many concerts. I've seen Stitchy, I've seen DJ Nicholas perform live, and I've seen lots of Christians, hands in the air, dancing and stuff. But you never seen nobody put your back and gyrating for nobody.
definitely
Never
hear.
saw
Yeah,
it
you would
from
definitely
any of the lyrics, even though the rhythm was the same.
So the
as
backstory to
other
this
dancehall
video,
artists.
this is Young Dynamo, Bashment Soca competition 2019. His dad came to me and said, "My son has a Bashment song. You know, I really would like to get some exposure." I was fortunate to be able to speak to one of the promoters.
Junior Soca competition?
No, International Bashment Soca competition.
Guest appearing.
Guest appearing,
Yeah.
right? And he opened the show with a very positive Bashment song. I got tremendous response.
Pure
So
forward.
we're gonna pan over to Dynamo at the 2019 International Bashment Soca competition, and let's take a listen and a view of that, and we see what opinions come,
That's right.
come from this performance.
After we see this.
After we see this. Over to you, Ashley.
But my mother to myself beg she's so we start shopping and wine walking. I shot me come and attack me. The girl don't see what that she holler. See boy I can't get your number. And do the fucking sleep and my idea and I want it all be together. Upon this and tell what I tell you. I don't come wrong me if you did it. I don't come wrong me just ain't petty. I like if you raise a rap boss. And if you like that, you know. I can swear just to move the move. Don't me and do me anything. You so I tell what I tell you. I want I want
But that's Dynamo performance on
Excellent.
very positive lyrics.
Yeah.
He's speaking to the type of girl that he does not want to associate himself with. Are you gonna fall down on the ground and roll and do the, I don't want to speak in the vernacular or whatever, you know, at this time, but are you going to do those negative gyrations to the lyrics that you're singing to the rhythm and make you move? It's going to catch your interest because it's an interesting rhythm.
Yes.
Right. But you're going to listen to what he has to say.
Rhythm.
Huh?
It's a jump down rhythm.
But are you going to do it?
So all the rah, girl, rah, that's a jump down rhythm.
But are you going to jump down to the lyrics that you're singing?
Highly unlikely.
People would jump down to that song.
Hearing the rhythm intro, yes. It's a jump down rhythm is subjective because you jump down usually to the instructions of the song. You jump down to the flavor of the song. And even though the rhythm does drive the movement and your desire to move, at the end of the day, it is also fed by the words, and it is unlikely that you would jump down.
You will continue to,
and even if somebody did jump down to it, does that mean the song is bad?
Yeah, he's singing positive lyrics.
Exactly.
The rhythm, the intro rhythm may cause you to initially this rhythm.
Yeah.
You know, then you hear this. I want to okay, this man singing something different. You gotta cause yourself listen. I don't know if Dr. Walker has anything to say on that.
I mean, when this all kicked off, right? I wasn't on island. I was surprised that I was kicking off, really, because I was overseas, and all of a sudden my phone kept buzzing. People, nation, all kinds of people calling me because we did this. When I say we, I facilitated Blackman Angola Calypso competition in 2020. We started to introduce this category. We called it Bashment. We had participants. We had 3 guys, and they went down killing in the school. No one was joking down. No one was had these moral issues associated with it. The school children were going off the chain. My mom broke down the place, right? And it was no issue. So when 2022 now, the NCF doing the same thing we did at Blackman Angola, I was like, okay, that's cool. So then I don't know what the controversy was because there was none at the time. We advertised it as Bashment Soca in the competition. They had judges, they had their own everything, and it went without issue, without any sort of problems, right? So I was wondering what the major thing was. And what was really good about it was that he was so comfortable, right? The youngster who won that segment was so comfortable and communicated, and the children his age understood and related to him on a level that the people singing Calypso did not have. Because he brought that authentic accent, he was being himself, right? And that's where you get a lot from the Bashment Soca artists. People who come and sing the Calypsos, and some Calypsos in Junior Monarchs have some real adult themes too, you know. Some of them sing about rape, some of them sing about AIDS, some of them sing about I get molested as a 5-year-old. When these adults are putting their words in children's mouths, right? And far more adult themes than my man who's saying about he want to be a prime minister in that Bashment Soca competition in Blackman Angola in 2020, right?
So Graham just posted something where he asked, how do we prevent the culture from leaking, right? And
you said Martin is kind of quick.
Yeah, but he's talking more about the audience. But I'm saying.
What do you mean with that? What do you mean with that?
How do we stop the audience from behaving in a particular
informal
way?
culture. How does the informal culture not permeate through?
But I think we cannot.
So the audience, what do you mean, children?
He said, "Let me, if we can."
I think you mean leaking to the children.
Okay, let me read the actual comment. So, Graham, I'm going to read your comment for the public. I was just coming to say what Jan said. How do we prevent the culture from leaking in as far as the reaction of the audience, children or adults, to the songs that the junior singers will be singing in that genre? People will behave the way they are accustomed to with the music. Will there be policing of audience behavior at these events? Also, if the negative behavior does occur, would this be something that the children expect as a reaction because they are part of the culture? I think it's a very pertinent question.
Well,
question that we should ask as adults as well, because they're concerned.
Yeah, but
why are we not asking that question about other genres of music? Right. People don't only do that. People do things to soca music as well, not just Bashment soca.
And here's my point too. Like you will never see that an NCF event, like the event, you hold a competition. It don't be for that. Even when you go, like, I can tell them something, right? And I can tell people don't gonna wear. Even when you go to Bashment Soca finals, right, ma'am? Right, dog. Here we're telling you, when you go to Bashment Soca finals, they being real.
Yeah.
Even more that singing slap songs, people don't walk out there. So when I know the competition, everybody be frightened and thanks. Being asked David, asked Randy, we go to all. Like, you don't see the boy at a competition joking down nothing. Like, say you go to competitions, bro, like that don't happen at a competition. Even Bashment Soca final, Rick, Bashies, Stiffy, when Stiffy sing, one about 3 times, the boy don't jump on in a competition in a fact, no. You hear Bashment different in the competition, everybody you want to, you know, that having a competition, and then a children's competition, you will never see that thing.
It will never happen.
Because children is always saying walk a song in the morning all the time.
But I was going to say that I don't want us to
from Marsville, even from Marsville, time in Junior
us to be culturally blind. I have been to many events with children, and I have seen children behave in what we call adult inappropriate ways to all types of music. And I am a bit concerned that we are so quick to bastardize things that we own, things that are black, things that are African, you know, because we are, you know, it's as if we will only embrace and accept things that are Eurocentric. And I know that's a difficult conversation. People don't want to go there, but we have to go there.
No, but that is like we can't deny that that way is like if Bashment Soulcanoe was music that more European, more palatable, you know what I mean, more sweeter to the ears, pleasing to the ears, it won't be a discussion. It's African, it's us, it's street oratory. It's obvious we can't hold on to that. It feels too black. It feels too much like us.
I somewhat disagree because I think maybe I looking through a real different lens, you know, because I am thinking that everything that I know, understand me, I am no musician, so I ain't sitting and studying music. Everything that I have ever associated with Bashment in my mind, the perception. When I hear somebody bash that person is a Bashment person, I'm thinking that person type of roadie, or when I hear of a Bashment, somebody dressed Bashment. When I hear that I'm going to a Bashment on the road, when you hear, and this being real, this being candid, when people hear about Bashment, the first thing that comes to mind is negative. And often, I mean, yes, I do agree that we can paint it with a positive vibe. But unfortunately, the dynamics of human behavior, right? We tend to allow negativity to take over everything. If I stand up and do an exercise, and then I ask the room to explain to me what I just did, most of the time, people that start acting negative because that is what usually, I don't know if it's maybe probably our human behavior, how we are,
I
right?
understand what you're saying.
So it is not, so I understand, and what you're saying in terms of the whole cultural, not the historical component to it, that may have some merit as well. But I'm thinking now that for the average man, people are thinking that
but we have to help them to think.
I agree that education is important to help us go back there.
And we also have to look at the evolution of language. How language shifts
that is
because you said that when you hear Bashment, you always think of something derogatory.
Not me.
I, as a teacher, was told that I was not Bashment. And I have never had anything negative said about me. When I used to teach, ma'am, you was not Bashment though. Ma'am, you look not Bashment though. It was about how I dressed. It was about my energy.
No, that was just told me. When I look at you, that's what you see.
Yeah. Listen, I would even go
no, I mean serious. The law thing she here, she feels always pretty. She always dressed nice. That just see
my son's friends to say
I just feel like a part. But when I hear Bashment, I just think party.
It was nothing negative. It was nothing negative.
But watch it now, right? Like I totally understand where people came from, you know. They did sound deep in we, you know. So don't think it's only Fabian, you know. They sound deep in we, so especially black people, you know. Like I remember, like Brandy, I had these conversations a lot. I used to hear on the radio, Mama, I just killed a man, put my gun against his head, pull the trigger, now he's dead. Mama, you got to go. No, because it feels European and North American. If I say, you, mommy, I can kill this man, we can hate it because it's a Bajan dialect. It feel black, it feel like weak. But when we sing that sweet, you can ask Fabian that said me if he ever complained for that playing for your radio.
And probably nobody did.
No, only me. No, it's being real because to me, I just see wrong as wrong. You understand that? My part is wrong as wrong. So ask him. You can ask anyone. So much things that we hear playing on radio that will say I will never even sing that. So it's just that the beat is ours because we hear so much mellow songs and country and western songs that we love. I never want all them things that we love and sing that are
And some of them
so
have violent themes.
listen, and you know better than that, you all are way more articulate and more learned, so you all can explain it better. But there's so much songs that are so sweet, that are so devastating, and we love them. You know what I mean? And I even bet you that way just singing that song, he never even think of that song as violent to chastise it.
You brought another,
and that's a song that should never play. That's a song that should never play on Bajan radio. And we all know, if we admit, everyone listening, that if that song, and they can say this again, if those exact lyrics was in dialect, was in Bajan dialect, Fabian, you were burn fat on that song.
But you know what people would also say? They would say that art is just mimicking life. It is just showing you the things that happen in society, and we would make an excuse for that song, but we ain't gonna want to make an excuse for another type of song.
Right.
We're gonna make a little detour here.
And I think one of the band members has a point to make on this thing. Or my brother, my bass man David, musician extraordinary, would love to hear your perspective on this, David.
For sure.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Sure.
Manners, buddy.
Yeah. I sit and I hear, everyone talking about the whole concept of lyrics, and lyrics do carry a heavy weight when it comes to the influence of persons, listening to the music and stuff. It's basically like a chicken egg situation, because in most instances the lyrics are a direct representation of what's happening in society, and then obviously in some instances it does influence society, which basically goes to the points that were being raised by the panel. I would also want to bring to the fore the whole concept of Afrobeat.
Okay.
When you look at, in most instances, the uptake and how our society has embraced that of Afrobeats, where it comes that in most instances we don't even know what they're singing, but it's just the infectious rhythm that basically, it speaks to we as Black people, basically, and we've embraced that culture to the point where even one of our headline acts for Crop Over this year is from the Afrobeat genre. So how do we speak to that? I think that's another area that we should touch, as opposed to just looking at the lyrics. What does the rhythm do to you? But everyone would have basically mentioned the fact that after you hear the rhythm, then in most instances, then you listen to the words. In some instances, persons don't even know the words. Persons just use here is a popular saying across the young people. I just like the beat. I don't even know what they're singing. I just like the beat. So how do you treat to that? Because here it is in one instance, as you said, you draw between Lieutenant Stitchie and Vybz Kartel. How do you determine who do I dance to? Who do I shape? Who do I clap my hands to? Who do I get up on the ground with, basically? What determines that?
Another thing about sorry.
I was just going to say, could answer that from a spiritual perspective.
Go ahead.
Nice.
And we talk, in Christian circles about the spirit of the music, and Lieutenant Stitchie's music and DJ Nicholas's music, it has a particular spirit to it.
Right.
So I have danced to Stitchie's War. I've danced to War, and the idea of it is that you're going up there and you're warring against all the evil in the society, you're warring against the devil, you're warring, that's the idea behind it. So it doesn't draw itself to you doing anything vulgar, even though you're dancing. You're engaging in a different type of warfare. Right. So I'm just saying that while I do take what you're saying, that music does drive your mood and how you're going to respond with your body, I think it is a delicate area where you can't totally divorce it from the lyrics and the spirit that is being pushed by whoever is performing it. Their energy, if you don't understand the word spirit.
So there's another take to that, and I'll basically put this out here, and he's very synonymous with doing. I would speak to that of the very talented DJ Puffy. DJ Puffy will take you on a musical journey any single time you listen to him play.
Every time.
And he, with his talent, can mix any genre and cause any crowd to basically react to how he wants them to react.
Okay.
So I say that to say
Any
that
genre, that's a spot.
it's amazing what he does with music. And to be able to he can take Bashment Soca and mix it with gospel. Or not, I can't say gospel, but
They can fall again, right? It's gonna
together and basically send a crowd in a frenzy. Which obviously speaks a lot to psychology as well.
You know her from?
Right? So reality, I think is a very good discussion. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And everyone has some very, very salient points. but it's a very thin line. And I would end by saying that we as the generation now have the ability.
Let me say this here now. Wait, hold on.
change
Let me
our
unmute
perception
YouTube
of
and
Bashment
Facebook.
Soca. And we are starting
Got
with
you live
which
everywhere.
is the right way to go.
Make sure you're all vote.
Excellent.
Make sure you're all good on Gainar.com.
So we're gonna go to a break and we'll be right back with something really, really.
Let me be here. We got everything on mute. Visit Gainar.com. GAINEON.com. GAINEON.com. Visit Gainar.com and go on the awards. Make sure on the board for making the greatest morning show. They've got talent because we were nominated for Podcast of the Year. Again, visit GAINEON.com. Visit Gainar.com. We were shortlisted for Podcast of the Year.
And Stefan and the band, they're going to be doing something really
Roger down vote for
rhythm
Big Got Talent Podcast of the Year at Gainar.com.
of this whole discussion, and we're looking at.
Yes. Roger, you going close?
Right. So
you going close?
like you raised an interesting point there as well about and it ties into what they were saying too. In terms of context and music. And you learn to decipher and read and do certain things and
maybe catch spasms and all kind of thing here. Right, everybody, we are live everywhere. If you're listening on Facebook, we are also live on Instagram, Bim Got Talent. We are live on YouTube, Bim Got Talent. We are live on Twitter, Bim Got Talent. We are live on Facebook, Bim Got Talent. We are live everywhere. I want to visit Gainar.com, GAINE.com, Gainar.com, and look for the awards and vote for Bim Got Talent for Podcast of the Year. Vote for Bim Got Talent for Podcast of the Year. Our morning show, Making the Greatness, was Big Up Keski Down, my brethren, on IG. Our podcast, Making the Greatness, was nominated for the background noise, my girl. Teddy Man, turn the fan off you. Our podcast, our podcast, Making the Greatness, were nominated for Podcast of the Year. So again, visit
the walnut card on that walnut there, right? So that's the basic element. And then we have
visit Gainar.com. Visit Gainar.com.
Right.
And vote for Bim Got Talent. We're making the greatest podcast of the year. Thank you, Marina. And you can also, when you go for Gainar.com, we are not Bim Got Talent nominated for podcast of the year, but Sluggy Dan, you can look for Sluggy Dan is also nominated for Activist of the Year, Social Media Personality of the Year, and Radio Personality of the Year. So when you go on Gainar.com, after you go on Gainar.com, you can vote for podcast of the year. You can then go on. You can then go and vote for Sluggy Dan for Activist of the Year. It's 4 categories now. You can vote Sluggy Dan for Activist of the Year, Social Media Personality of the Year.
Mama, no, the man dead. They got 2 shots and a bus off the head. Mama, no, the man dead. They got 2 shots and a bus off the head.
Right. Different context altogether.
Good.
Same lyric.
Happy though. Happy that it should be.
Open mic in the air, come out, yeah, but open mic with Danny Cohen, OG, and Archie, and my open mic with Danny Cohen, OG, and Archie, and all the little men had open mic early in the year. If he didn't get nominated to the nominations, they come yet.
That will cause controversy.
And Archie, little men do an open mic on platform that
same lyric, but no, we've taken the vehicle and have a whole set of meanings. So not only
no, please.
Music has a lot of other meanings that comes with it, depending on what space
That boy didn't know me. That boy didn't know me and the ex, man.
That's so well. You know, it was a great example as to how.
Tell you that I ain't the man that already in me.
And affect.
Tell you, I ain't the man that already in me.
Even though you are singing something that is very similar to what would have been sung in a different type of, music.
Yes, Sunflower. Good morning, Sunflower.
And like you said, like you touched on earlier, is a
Good
reason.
morning.
That is for a reason.
Good morning, Sunflower. Good morning. If you're not
Make
coming
sure
in, we're
you
asking for your
pinpoint
votes.
Great
Visit
Town family. It
gainon.com,
wasn't that long ago where
gainon.com,
men weren't
gainon.com.
allowed to
Vote for
that
BIM
wasn't
Got
that long
Talent,
ago, and in
Vehicle to Greatness for Podcast of the Year. BIM
and
Got
in schools
Talent,
we
Vehicle
don't
to
speak
Greatness.
about,
Our
we
morning
don't
show
gathering,
was
playing
nominated for
music,
Podcast of the Year.
performing our
So
music,
please
our
visit
way. That was
gainon.com,
not allowed. That had a time there on
gainon.com.
Sundays. They will stop that from happening.
Go on awards
It deeply
and vote for BIM
rooted
Got Talent
within us.
Podcast of the Year.
It's something that we can't get away from. And then I was privileged to
Gainon.com,
have
gainon.com.
a conversation with Dr. John Hunt.
Gainon.com, vote for BIM Got Talent, Vehicle to Greatness for Podcast of the Year. Our morning show was nominated for Podcast of the Year. I want to thank everyone that nominated us for Podcast of the Year. You know, we just start, and people nominate us already. That's such a great feeling to know that we only in the beginning stages. We just starting. You know, we haven't launched yet. We haven't launched the show yet. We haven't do nothing big yet. We ain't doing a promo yet. Nothing. And
you understand, it was very enlightening. Dr. John Hunt made me look at so much.
we ain't doing a promo yet. Nothing. And we were nominated for Podcast of the Year already. So it shows that our morning show got potential. So
and then you explain to me like certain, right, and then certain fertility.
it shows that our morning show got potential. So I want to thank everybody for voting for us. Maximum love and respect. Visit gainon.com, gaione.com, and vote for BIM Got Talent, Vehicle of Greatness for Podcast of the Year. And then you can vote for Sluggy Dan for Activist of the Year, Social Media Personality of the Year, and Radio Personality of the Year. So you can vote for Sluggy Dan, Activist of the Year, Social Media Personality of the Year,
right? Because they're actual changes
Radio Personality of the Year. So it's 4 categories in all.
Right? So a lot of things that we think is cool because martial arts.
BIM Got Talent, Vehicle to Greatness for Podcast of the Year. And then Activist of the Year, Sluggy Dan, Radio Personality of the Year, Sluggy Dan, Social Media Personality of the Year, Sluggy Dan. Please go and give me your votes.
Sexual movement, as you say, integrating, but is walking up necessarily rude and crude?
I don't think we're talking about walking up.
Everyone for sheer
things that look more like
Yola CD, you vote already.
You see, the thing about it is that a lot of what you're saying.
Foxy, what you already voted. It's 4 categories. It's 4 categories, Foxy. So you already voted.
And I understand that. I understand that is where dance and music, and that's the foundation for a lot of what we do. But we don't know it. I mean, I remember my time at school. I know we had steps.
I hope you already voted Foxy.
You know what I mean? Like there's a large component of my Black history that I am totally ignorant about, and part of that ignorance contributes to my ignorance when it comes to dance and music. And you have to be honest with yourself to really see where the issues are. If we're supposed to grow as a people, we have to be aware of where the issues are. And that is where we start with education. After our initial conversation, Randy, I had a different perspective, because Randy then educated me in such a way like, oh, okay, that this makes sense now. I see music and how we interpret it due to our individuality, due to our own values and morals, and the way we analyze and the way we view the world.
That's right.
You understand? And this is where the real genuineness coming out now really from me. I understand that me and Sluggy can listen to the same song and react so different to it because of our perception of the world and how we interpret that particular circumstance.
And I think we have to respect that people
Ross
will have their individual preferences, and people will have their individual perspectives based on their own experiences, etc. And I think we have to respect that. But at the same time, we still have a responsibility to educate people as much as we can. We might not win them over to our side. They may not necessarily see it the way that we're seeing it. But at the end of the day, a lot of what we are sharing and a lot of what in terms of different perspectives, a lot of it is also still very subjective because one individual
Rest
can
in
hear a
peace,
particular
Fish
song
Kid.
and
Rest in
respond to it
peace,
entirely
Dapper
differently from
Kid.
another individual, even though music does have the power
Rest
to
in
influence
peace,
our
Fish Kid.
movement and the type of
Rest in
music that
peace,
we
Dapper
I want
Kid.
to throw a
Everybody
question.
it's a
on
both and.
YouTube,
I was asked this
Facebook,
question
Twitter.
this morning. I
Rest
can't
in
say it
peace
on
to
the
Fish
forum
Kid
here.
and Dapper
I
Kid.
want to
That's
ask
coming
this
from
question.
Armstrong.
If the authorities at the BBC say no, we're
Like,
not
they want
having
to promote this new
those
tune
children
for
not
me.
singing,
There's no
bashment
problem. If it's on
music,
YouTube, I would
what
look for it on
message are you
YouTube.
sending to the
I'll look for
children?
it on
What
YouTube
message are you
and
sending?
play it.
I have my own answer, but I want
And
everybody
bust
to
it.
analyze.
If you got a promo video for it,
Probably
send me
said
the
no, they're
promo video
not
for it and
singing.
everything.
Yeah, this is not happening. We are not allowing this.
What message would that
What
send?
message is that sending to the children and to society?
What message is it sending?
Here.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I think
What are we telling our children?
But it's not definitive about the message. But in fact, they are encouraging in it. I do not know the thought processes. You'll need someone here from
Coming from my boy Armstrong.
forward.
Armstrong is saying
But
rest in
the
peace to
message it
Fish
does
Kid.
send, I can say what it,
And
what
rest
I
in
think it does
peace to
send. It sends
Dapper
a message
Kid.
that you're comfortable with our Barbadian dialect. You're comfortable with our Barbadian dialect in multiple spaces, not only on the street, but also on the performance stage by young people. That's the message it sends to me. We see this as a form of art, worthy
Blessings,
of
no
being
problem. Blessings by SK. That's typing blessings by
that was
SK.
hugely where Sunny said where we were 100 years ago. To see Barbadian dialect on stage perform, that was hugely for Barbados as a general story.
You remember when rhythm poetry started way back with Farrell and so on, and it was still treated very much as a fringe thing. I remember way before Adrian Green taking
check
a
it.
spoken word piece
I can check it before tomorrow.
and
Like,
not being allowed to
we
be
can listen
through
to it.
because they couldn't judge it because I was standing up performing as you do spoken word, and they were judging me with drama and theater, which required me to know it on the stage. You know, it wasn't accepted then, but now we have spoken word as an element in NICFA and it has its own rules. You understand, which are distinctly different from the theater. So I'm saying that we have to evolve. We have to understand that art is dynamic. I'm not saying we have to embrace and rubber stamp everything. We do have to have these sessions where we do interrogate what we are putting up there, what we are exposing our children to. We have to
If it clean, I can play even if it ain't clean, brother, man.
we still have to be open to the
Just don't
evolution of
overdo
art.
it if it ain't
That
clean.
artists
I can play if it ain't
themselves,
clean with a
you know,
wall tune
no
that ain't
artist
clean.
wants to get stuck in a rut.
That
You might start up singing a particular genre. You
that
might
is my
start
cousin Sluggy
writing
Dan. He was the one that
yourself,
was murdered
and then
last
you
night
might
in Rock
experiment.
Hall.
I
Is
write poetry
Saint
and I tend to write
born and raised
but I started
in
to
Chaka
experiment
Hall.
recently with writing
Okay.
rhythm poetry and
Rock Hall
using
Saint Lucie
the
born and raised. Okay,
Barbadian
Armstrong,
dialect.
our
It's a different style of
condolences to
poetry, which
you.
I still appreciate as well. So we don't have to get stuck in the rut and think we can only be one type of artist. We don't want to send that message to our children. We want them to embrace what is big,
Our
what it means to be
condolences to you,
Barbadian,
my
and what it
brother.
means to own the things that we create and craft them and shape them and make them into something good and palatable for the rest of the world.
That's the message I think is being sent.
And
it's an important message, no.
Yeah, like for real, like this is what earlier about Dr. John Hunt.
I want everybody to subscribe to BIM Got Talent on YouTube. Please subscribe to BIM Got Talent on YouTube. Please subscribe to BIM Got Talent on YouTube. Please subscribe to BIM Got Talent on YouTube. You got a sitcom. You got a sitcom coming out, a short series, a comedy. Got a comedy coming out. You can drop an episode. We can drop an episode every Friday night. We can drop an episode.
Right. Obviously, all days be more articulate.
Every Friday evening, not really too late evening. So every Friday evening, like 7:30, we can drop an episode. They give me starring Danico and Archie. They can touch all can't they can touch. They can touch all and got different messages, but the comedic way. Violence, relationships, politics, culture, you know, our culture, Sports. They can touch everything.
You don't recognize it.
Nah, you know
don't
me, and I'd be sorry that I
In the episode, he may be once he's not. Oh shit! I just keep forgetting that.
We wish that we could hear Bashment because they understand most of society will hear jazz as a music that wants to hear it, and you're finding reasons to
There's so much sexual themes. There's so many sexual themes behind that.
We ever want to go there, and I'm sure it's like that fan could speak very much. Listen to me. I still thankful for all my teachers, right? We still nerves. Whether it was in the Royal Barrington, Force Farmers, and Service Rally, he was speaking about classical music. And he was putting up not just speaking, putting up and all these songs, they were talking about the certain songs and in church. And singers who aren't church, they didn't know what they were asking for.
Whole firm Armstrong. You sorry for what happened? Bigger all the fish kid family and relatives in Rock Hall.
It's classical music, so it has to be
even
good.
songs that we think as gospel songs are not gospel songs.
I still trying to because against the comments coming in on my phone, right? And some people still real I put book this.
I want to shout out to the Facebook comments. I want y'all to continue to comment. We are trying to read the comments and try to get you in on the discussion, but keep the discussion flowing in the chat because this will spark more conversation.
Yeah, well, I will let the readers call it, right?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. He said me, this person said, if I was on that panel, it would be trouble. Right? He said, teach the children to sing first. Is he saying, right? Teach the children to sing first. So there's a perception there that those persons on stage singing Bashment can't sing.
Right, and
right? So he's saying, teach the children to sing first.
You know what?
Let me finish with the comment.
And there's another thing too. They can show for the boy listening. When we say teach people to sing, you know what we mean? Make them sound European or North American.
Yes.
Study it deep.
Yeah.
Study it deep.
Because we perceive singing as only sounding a particular way.
The country say the country ain't well. That's too Bajan. That ain't good. Some North American. The country say country ain't well. Like being real.
Suddenly the singing is real.
One would say that sound good because they don't sound Bajan. Study it. Study it. That would teach some boy to sing. Most we make them song as close to European or North American standard as possible. Even when we're judging Calypsonians, then we would say like Adrian Clark is a far better singer than Bright Plastic Bag. We would say that, and nobody would never argue that because Bag is not Bajan. Not Adrian and Bajan. Adrian is just a standard that could be closer to how a European sound. You understand? It's saying deep in we Fabian. Study it.
But I agree with you, though. I agree with you. But that's a part that we don't want to touch. Our history is so uncomfortable to be with that we don't want to go back there. So we just deal with it here and now. I think just a little bit, just to tap back a bit, I mean, back to the whole children voice. I think a lot of the concern, and this back to the same formal versus informal, because the question was put out there, so what would the NCF do exactly, or how would they rule and all of that? That's okay. I don't expect an established esteem organization to include any sort of rudeness or vulgarity or encourage children to do anything of that nature.
So where you had a problem with the
informal thing, this I interpret that comment earlier in terms of it seeping into the informal thing. Whereas you don't got the rules, you don't got nobody governing you. You just do it as you please, how you please, where you
if you know coming in, visit
Don't we already have
vote for BIM Got Talent for podcast in the year making the greatest morning show.
Influences in our society. Do we not have
vote Sluggy Dan for
negativity out there in society?
Social media personality and radio personality. So you know you should have 4 votes so far.
How do we manage that?
Through
Babe Got Talent making the greatest morning show podcast of the year.
Through church, through education.
Sluggy Dan activist, great personality, social media personality.
Because we can't have
You can also vote for Ahan J for Best Emerging Artist.
That's being hypocritical.
Vote Ahan J Best Emerging Artist.
We hold a higher standard
Ahan J Best Emerging Artist. And you can vote for Quantum Production.
Where the same rules apply.
Producer
we have to parent our children. We have to expose them to what is good, to values and morals. We have to teach them about God. We have to teach them about kindness. All of those things we have to do.
Yeah, and
I agree.
In all aspects of life, including music. Don't just bastardize
that's what
music.
should happen.
I agree.
I agree.
And it can be weird. It can be weird, right? But for me, I don't like this negative thing, right? I don't feel that. Like if we got 280,000 Barbadians, right? Let's say, for example, we got 80,000 young people.
Visit Gaynor.com and vote for Roz Sigman. Gaynor.com, GANE.com, and vote for Roz.
Most young people voting that can't be true. Like we could literally break it down to a sense and by numbers. Like majority of young people in Barbados positive. Wanna know was 80,000 negative people.
So visit Gaynor.com, people. GANE.com, GANE.com.
On the negatives and then they see the larger
greatest morning show podcast of the year. Bim Got Talent making the greatest morning show podcast of the year. Gaynor.com, GANE.com, and vote for Sluggy Dan activist.
But what I want to do,
creative personality and social media personality should
really
votes.
intriguing presentation.
You know,
Bashment Soca.
Vote for that. Give your 4 votes to Ross.
So I'm thinking we're going to go to a short ad, and we're going to go back to the man and allow Dr. Walcott to expound on that a little bit more, and then we're going to get Barry in with his views. We know he has some very strong perspectives. Grass starts, my brother. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to join the KBS team. He was on his own. So we need to come in and help him. All right, so we're going to go to a short break. Over to you, Ashley.
Huh? No, wait, you know what people for Ross? Wherever you won't take it over right here, man. And if you're listening on other platforms and you're wondering, you can only hear me talking and can't hear who I'm talking to, we are also on. Now this one called the youth, so be right. We are also if you want to hear that me no know how the youth get so. Me no know how the youth get so. You know the youth nowadays like the dirty idiots. Sniffing coke, they didn't rock so good. By the way, the other days you're around the gap. With something in the guy, they fall back with a rap. I don't know if it's a chicken like a piece of chicken back. When you slice it, the way of the rap was a box. He knows the make a little slip back. So we talk a this bad, they make the belly gap back. Just like that, when you make a mistake, already take a stop, already take a closer look, you ain't knowing it. I think these people get on a bit too horrible.
90s. And
that
was,
all hear their
as they
audio.
keep saying, that's basically the roots, the musical roots, the phrasing roots. Lyric is the man. Lyric set the template for that Barbadian dialect voice on top of that type of rhythm, right? And when it started to come back in the 2010s with the crowd soldiers and with the Crime Sons, right?
Yes, I want you all to make sure again, go to
to the younger people.
We were
younger
shortlisted for Podcast of the Year. So visit Gaynon.com, GANE.com, visit Gaynon.com.
So what he was singing about,
Making a Greatness Morning Show for Podcast of the Year. We were nominated for Podcast of the Year. Visit Gaynon.com, GANE.com, and vote for BIM Got Talent, Making a Greatness for Podcast of the Year. We were nominated for Podcast of the Year. And when you were finished, vote for Sluggy Dan, for activists, radio,
needs another perspective in my view,
and social media
for young people to bring
personality of the year, activist of the year, radio personality of the year, social media personality of the year, radio personality of the year, social media personality of the year, activist of the year. Those three categories, Sluggy Dan, radio, social.
With rap, we can think of rap music. If any of you have seen any
podcast of the
year,
year,
of rap music,
BIM Got Talent.
Rap music started in the streets. It was pointing out particular social issues, right? And you know, some of it might have been seen as positive, and some of it seen as negative. We have rap music being used by all kinds of artists, including gospel and conscious rap.
Sorry, before I bring Barry,
go ahead.
We got a comment on. No, not that one, the folk song one.
Oh, that's no
right.
problem. Let's hear.
And one of the if you're using the most in terms of what definition of bashment, but the one using like enjoyment, exuberance, etc. One of the bashiest and the most popular folk song in Barbados is John Belly Mama, right? Right? It embraces the spirit of exuberance. It has a dance state, all of that stuff that we temper with this vulgar. I don't want to play no John Belly Mama. With a bashment rhythm, right? So we do it. Say about we do it. Echo. So right, 1, 2, 2, 2.
Look at
Don't make I tell you, come. Don't make you show some socket.
Oh, you can hear? Oh, you hear? Oh, you hear word in here? Oh, you hear it's too doggy to hear. No, you can hear?
You see? No, that rhythm, that Bajan dialect, everything is in my feeling now. Right? It just goes seamlessly together. And the tradition goes to be about the people before that had that same exuberance and things better sing that song too. You know how many children sing that? You know that boy back school too.
But it sounds like what we did at the stadium as well. You know, the drumming, it has that same kind of feel. The drumming at sports.
I want to bring an example where I saw Ian Webster.
All the awards are nominated for that. He won awards a
bashment soca rhythm, and he wrote a song to allow the children to understand the different beats in music.
Oh yes,
right. Yes. We're gonna come to that. Mark, I'll put it in the folder for you to put it up as an example. But that is something we can look at. We then went and did a seminar at the Lucky Combat School, and we used Mo's song "Take the Lovin' and Breathe," and Ian rewrote that song to check the book and read. I can't remember the exact lyric, but I have that excerpt as well to show. You know, so you can use positive lyrics. I have someone here on the Facebook who's saying. That we not only need to have good parenting, I think this is Gail Hunt, they need positive mentors who they can emulate, not just learn from parents and teachers. The reason why is some children can be influenced by subcultures as part of trying to find themselves. Music is a great way to build confidence, but you must not just be entertainment, but also be beneficial to their growth. Yeah. So this is where we come in now as educators, as mentors, as social commentators in a sense as well, helping children understand that they can use music movement in a positive way, right? For enlightenment and for also engaging their peers. And that is where I think the NCF may be going with this particular move. And I know you can get Barry here in on this one also. That's why it's skewed to that side, right? I think Red Plastic, but I don't want to misquote, has said before that Calypso is kind of moving away. I think he did say dying genre. I maybe misquoted him there. And he said we need to evolve the music so that we capture the young people. And if young people are in tune to this bashment rhythm, they're also in tune to the Zesta rhythm. A lot of people saying Father Philip singing bashment, he's singing bashment, he's singing Zesta rhythm, right? Zesta rhythm with a Bajan dialect on top of it, right? So if the NCF is using the bashment soca rhythm in the clinical sense, not culture, not the bashment culture, but they're using bashment soca genre to capture the ears of young people and allowing our junior monarch contestants to sing social commentary lyrics on top of it. You know, that is something we have to think about. And I believe that competition is going to, or that segment of the competition is going to challenge the guys who are mainstreaming it to see different ways to write.
That's right.
It comes down to the writers, the content the writers will write, how creative they will be. And we've always challenged writers to be creative. We need to have imagery in the lyrics. We need to have melodic structure that captures you, right? So at this time, I want to throw it to Barry. Let Barry get in on the conversation. Thank you for joining us. We know you were at class before, so you were very well excused. And we hand over to you now at this time. Master Barry Wilkinson.
Well, hi, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for putting this on. It seems to be a very enlightening conversation, although I missed most of it, so I'm not quite sure where the conversation is at the moment.
You can share your opinion. I know you would have had your own opinion on it, your perspective, and then we'll go from there. That's not a problem.
Well, to be quite honest, we have to still give the competition a chance to see where it will go, how it will evolve, and what the young people who are interested into the category will do. The thing I had about it is that I personally would not have named a competition for juniors bashment soca because of what the word bashment entails and what connotation it has. I mean, we can all find words to properly explain it and words to properly say what it means. Yesterday, somebody tried to tell me that when you say condolences, that you're actually saying that you're sorry for something and not expressing grief for death. So words can indeed have meaning, but we know what the connotations of the words are. And I think if NCF is so bent on doing something positive and changing up the competition, I perhaps would not have used the word bashment, even though, as you guys said, it entails a certain beat or a certain rhythm in the song. It was only last year that the Prime Minister of this country was on television speaking against some well-known persons in society who are ambassadors, who are looked up highly upon. And she was saying that what they put out was not acceptable. Did the media bring forward that? No. It was not in CBC, it was not in Starcom, it was not certainly in the Nation newspaper, it was on YouTube. So who are we to believe that when these youngsters have a free reign now at bashment soca, well, they might not go into competition with some lyrics, they might get very creative and go on the same YouTube channels and so on and expose themselves and further denigrate what we're seeing in schools. We're seeing some very unhappy young people in schools. There's the Nation, the CBC broadcast that, the CBC go and shoot and film that. No, they're filmed by cell phones because everyone now has a cell phone and everyone now is filming each other to see exactly how bashy and trashy you can get. So when there's a bashment soca model now, which is kind of like medicinal marijuana, where you have legal marijuana and you have illegal marijuana, bashment soca could very well become the same thing. You're going to have people who are going to be doing on the side and doing their version of it to expose on YouTube. And that will probably get more views, that will get more thoughts than the actual competition that the NCF is promoting. So that is what I'm scared about. I'm scared about the word bashment being used because it's not going to be used in the right connotation for some, and some will not be very responsible with it.
In the studio for you. He's here, you're not saying it, but you need to hear next to me.
I'm right there with you.
Mark made the statue of content. But I heard Ari spoke about what the Prime Minister spoke about. Right, but she was speaking about the violence in the music.
Exactly.
Right, but
exactly. I'm saying that certain music and certain connotations are going to bring about that kind of lyrics and kind of behavior. So I'm not knocking bashment soca. I'm saying that when you talk about bashment soca in juniors, you're going to have people who are going to do underground things that are not going to be part and parcel of the competition, but they're going to do it because they feel they have full reins to do something that is called bashment junior soca. So that is what I'm talking about. So you hit the nail on the head as to where I'm going.
Seems illogical to me Because what is stopping them from doing it right now? What is stopping them from taking out their phones and creating something violent or something inappropriate? What is stopping students, young people, from doing that right now because there's no competition? That argument doesn't hold water, Barry. It is illogical because nothing is stopping them from doing it right now.
It's not illogical because they don't have a license to do it. In other words, they might feel this is bashment because this is a competition, but because the NCF is going to be guarding and guiding these lyrics, therefore I don't have to enter their competition, but we can have our own outside competition, and I know that our youngsters are going to do that.
Let me clarify. It is junior Calypso Monarch, and they have allowed the bashment genre.
They don't have to
there's no
choose
junior
it.
bashment monarch.
There's no junior bashment
So
monarch.
what has happened? This was happening for a long time. That man could be a writer, Sluggy's a writer. I could have written a social competition for that child, brought it to the studio for me to produce, and say, look, Randy, I don't want this to be an 80 BPM song. I want this to be a 130. And they put that vocal pattern behind it, right? And that evokes the same kind of rhythmic variation or whatever, right? I could arrange the music with the same bashment soca strum that we are accustomed to, right? What the NCF is doing is just highlighting the genre, but it's something that could have been done before. You may very well hear bashment soca with a bar chorus, like a prana, as we call it, right? We don't know what level of creativity will come out of it.
And that's why I said, Randy, that's why I said I'm waiting to see what really comes of it. But I'm just saying that I'm just afraid that it could very well go down the wrong line. That's what I'm strictly afraid of.
Yeah, and I share that concern too. And for me, I am willing to give it some time to see how the whole concept children in terms of the evolution of the music and to see how it is treated from what you guys, the words that you were using earlier, the formal setting. What Barry is referring to is what we were talking about as the informal side. That's where my concern equally was, But I guess we need to probably give it some time and to see how it is treated.
So my question for Barry. I got a question for Barry. How do we fix it?
How do we fix it? Well, we have to wait and see what the NCF does. But
I understand the issues that you have with the back and forth. So I'm going on issues you have. I'm asking you, how do we fix it? Isn't this the way to fix it? Like if I'm saying, or I'm telling you, I'm asking you, right? Let's say I agree with you. Back and forth is vulgar. I don't believe children should be doing it. Let's say I agree with you. I'm asking you, no, isn't this the best way to fix it?
But if it's the best way to fix it, if the NCF is going to have a rubric and proper guidelines to doing so. But don't forget, what I'm telling you is that I'm not scared of what the NCF is going to do. I'm afraid of what is going to happen on the ground. That's what I'm afraid of.
We don't like the bashment. We ain't because nothing is stopping these children from doing it now. And right now, like a lot of the time, lonely out here. So I know for a fact that's not the issue we have. That's the issue, and nobody in Barbados can come and tell me, Sluggy, that's the issue because of, again, say this again, I say this anywhere proudly. It does be lonely out here fighting the issues. So them are the issues.
I think we have to give our young people more credit as well. And I think that we have to understand how young people develop. In every era of time, as it were, through the decades, there have always been the traditions and there have always been aberrations into new things. Rock music, even calypso music, I guess in its heyday, soca party music. There will always be shifts and changes from one thing that is popular into something else, because then it becomes old to the younger generation. So bashment will become old. It will, and something else will emerge. That is the nature of life. It's the nature of culture. It's the dynamism that is in there. We can't run scared. Let me finish. We can't run scared and try to keep things in a box because we think we have to help our children to become thinkers, where they can differentiate between right and wrong, where we can model what is best for them. They will make their own choices. They will make mistakes. But young people will always want to experiment. They will do it all the time.
And I agree with that. I have no difficulty with that. But I asked you this question: do you think a lot of young people smoke marijuana? Okay. What will happen when it becomes legal?
Good. Awesome.
You might be surprised. It may lose some of the edge because if it's no longer listen, if it is no longer this is a controversial view, and I'm not saying that I am promoting the use of marijuana.
Not among young people.
When it is no longer something that is against the law, it will lose some of the excitement. Right? It will lose some of the excitement.
I would like to see that.
That's my personal view.
Organization has a point to make on this one. Go ahead, David.
Hi, Barry. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Just basically counter the devil's advocate to the question that you just asked regarding marijuana. In Barbados in 2019, 2018, if you had told persons that everyone could walk around in masks, what would you have said?
That they could walk around in masks or they had to walk around in masks. There's a difference.
So basically, persons were walking out. If somebody had approached you in a ski mask in 2018, what would be your perception of that person? That they wanted to rob you, correct? That they were up to something evil and that you would fear for your life. If somebody walks up to you now in a ski mask, what is your perception?
Anything much that normal.
No, if somebody walks up to me in a ski mask, I'd be very still skeptical. If they walk up to me in a mask that is a K95, that it wouldn't be. So if somebody still walks up to me in a ski
mask, and various different types of
to be quite honest, I'm not being facetious. I don't see people in ski masks anymore. I just see people wearing normal masks. But I'm saying that the mask has become mandatory. So the difference, there's a major difference. No, hold on. I'm just saying to David, mask is mandatory. Mask is mandatory. Mask was not optional. Right, so
it's different. Perception. I'm not talking about whether or not it's mandatory. I'm just talking about the perception, because obviously we have basically normalized the whole process of wearing masks, and the appearance obviously has changed.
Yes.
Case in point, I can even go to the scenario of you getting on a plane and seeing persons of a certain religion on the plane. Your level of comfort will change based upon scenarios that you've been exposed to. I don't think I need to go into the details, but certainly if you get on a plane and you see certain persons of a certain religion,
it's thing to you.
Okay, so that's all I'm saying as it relates to that of marijuana. I do take Sluggy's point in that I do believe that our society is such that we can think for ourselves, right? And as Sluggy said, we don't have 80,000 negative young people out there. Certainly not.
And they always say about how negative young people are. And they ask Bajans, if we have 80,000 Barbadian youth, if 10,000 are negative, that is still not the majority. Yeah. But somehow we just paint this picture that in Barbados, majority of young people are negative. And that is so far from the truth. Minority, and it means it's the extremely small number. That does not mean that doesn't mean that we should look at the seriousness of it.
But I mean, you mentioned this earlier, but nearly in everything that we do, negativity does tend to dominate.
Right, but
how small it may seem. You know the God saying, right? One apple, one bar, apple, the spoil the whole bunch.
No, I don't agree with that either.
So hold on. David, I want to ask you one question.
That's not true. These things that we repeat because poor people repeat and that's true. What apple don't spoil in the bunch? That's not true.
Hold on. Listen, you can get one person influenced.
Ask me this question. When you go to the United States, right?
Yeah.
Do you fear for your life?
Yeah.
You fear for your life when you go to the States?
Yeah.
Right, but do you know that they've only had 10 killings in the whole year? So 10 killings among what? 70 million people is not too bad. What do you fear?
You see who had 10 killings for the whole year?
I'm talking about like shootings with children and that kind of thing.
In America?
Yeah, I'm talking about mass killings. They've only had about 10
instances of mass
killings.
That ain't nothing to do with Chicago media. That ain't nothing to do with Chicago and Waterloo. In Chicago, there's got 10 killings a day.
No, I'm talking about mass killings.
So it's only a mass killing, it's only mass killing.
I mentioned earlier that the media has a lot to do with that because the media will focus on the negative things.
Today in Chicago, more than 10 people died, and Chicago in America. It's got mass killings in America all the time. America will choose to show. Like, it got a family in America that will call me a thing about mass killings that people never hear on the news.
You got a lot of don't cover.
They got a special.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that the percentage is small. The percentage is small in comparison to overall. So it nullifies your argument. The point I'm making is that her argument is nullified by negatives among 80,000.
Right. Let me bring it back to the Bashment Stoker and its relevance and how we move forward from here as a genre. Right. What are the next steps? Because I think education is key. We need to educate the public about the difference, as I spoke in the beginning about the informal culture, which is Bashment culture, and then speaking to Bashment Stoker as a genre, right? We got a band here, and I just wanna demonstrate a couple of things in terms of calypso and its subgenres and how it has evolved, right? I will call the rhythm, David. I will leave the difference to you. You're very creative. You can go with that. So calypso, we have various subgenres, and one of the first ones I want to identify would be Kaiso. Stefan can jump at any point if I forget one. So Kaiso, like around 76. Cool. So that's Kaiso, right? You have, all right, calypso, which can have different permutations in terms of rhythm. You can have standard pop, 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 pop. You can play that one speed. Right. Okay. Then you can have that same calypso. Yeah, well, I could get a soca too, right? Early soca, right? But it's a calypso song because you have commentary on top of it, right? You can have a permutation of tuck. You want to sport them before.
But as we talk about transitions, really the good point Roddy's making there, right? Is that the big we called calypso. That was original soca. I managed to do bad everything here that beat late 1970s.
I run all through the stadium.
It's social. Not do bad I've been jumping around talking about.
Criticize,
right? Yeah, because you can't play around behind certain calypso man at that time, right? And that's the point that's the point the panel trying to make, right? Is that what things you find offensive today, right? They will change because that beat and call it calypso.
You can't play that in certain churches too.
Rod, you foolish?
Yeah, you can't play that in certain churches.
That's soca beat. Don't bring that book here.
Correct. Right, but again,
and the same man will be like. Soca, the best soca first come out was controversial, you know. What Rod Shorty doing, man, he bring all this music here, mashing up. They do want back the old clip, so all the young people are darn foolish, wearing this soca thing, soca. I know they're like, oh, Baron, oh God, oh, he sweet though, right? So it will change, and that's what Denise was saying earlier. So I will be an old man, and I'll be like, bring back the Bashment,
yeah. Right?
Bring back the I can't take this here.
So I do this demonstration to show now how we move through and transition, right? The baseline is going to change, right? But we're going to keep that same calypso soca thing. Give me the one with the permutation of stuff. Rhythm now will be free of those your parents at the beginning. Pop, 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 pick it up, right? And it's tough. Give me old school, David. Same play. I was talking about this, don't mind that. You get to know Power Soca, right?
Watch me show you know, right? Watch me show you know, right? Right. You that stay there? When you hear that was called back.
Hold on, you get it.
Hold on.
First Bashment,
no. What's the difference? You're gonna see what the difference is. That was called back, right? Yeah. So we're gonna do Power Soca, right? And then we're gonna competition. So 160 kind of tempo, modern David, right? Remember all those beats. We're gonna do a bashment soca rhythm now. You remember what happened with the ad? You remember what happened with the ad? Right. Yeah. Hold it and see. Simple, right? We're gonna do a bashment soca rhythm now. First soca rhythm that you played. Same thing that's like you said, right? The only thing that's gonna change the vibe is the bass line. Go ahead. I could sing Alison Haynes, Ragamuffin on top of that. I could sing
Ragamuffin,
it's Bashment Soca. Right? I think Stefan even defines Bashment Soca too with all of these. Okay.
The first Bashment Soca is
Power One
and them. Right?
Power One is first, not original Bashment Soca, the original. Correct. Right? Right. Without Sandy and Lorette on giving dialect on top of it.
Right. Peter
Coffee. Correct, Peter Coffee. Never stand for a class, man.
Yeah,
Right. So the first one.
Last thing I want to do, we got a song together, take them over, right? And you're gonna play. You can go for right? Give me a mid-tempo soca, right? So he's gonna superimpose what we call a R&B melody over it, but it's soca, right? Like the rhythm alone will start like bashment, but then when he starts to sing perspective and context, right? Yeah. So mid-tempo kind of.
You got too much sounds here. This soca, boy, we're not stopping over. We're taking over. This soca, boy, we're not stopping over. We're taking over. Give me the rhythm pumping. Give me the music pumping. Give me the music pumping. Give me the rhythm pumping.
So, same basic rhythm, right? But no sluggy comes with that this melody, right? And it changes the perspective. And he started a chant on top of it now. You listen to all these singing foolishness, singing bashment, right? So that's the thing about Caribbean genres. The polyrhythms, there's so many different nuances and characteristics of it that take it to the different subgenres and make the difference. Right? So I think at this stage we need to look at the education of the public in terms of what the genre represents and the possibilities for it moving forward, and giving the youngsters a chance to create within the subgenre of bashment soca, right? And not knocking it before it starts. Obviously, if something lewd and crude happens, we can't condone that because we wouldn't want children to be doing those kind of things. I can't see it happening with
but here's
hey, back here, Foxy was there, I show you.
Right, they want that period. They want that lewdness wrong in fashion.
Make sure to vote. Make sure to get all on the segment to vote. All on the segment to vote, or all on the main to vote.
And they put an R&B song, it wrong. Still, it ain't wrong because it's bashment. And Barry wasn't
make sure you get your main to vote.
Wasn't here, but like the example of the main is like the song that.
Oh, say main to vote, and you say main to vote.
Mama, I just killed a man. Put my gun against his head. Pull the trigger, now he's dead.
Yeah.
That's what you play on radio. I never hear Bijan had a problem be stay sluggy. I used to always say Dash and never play on radio. But it sounds sweet, it's close to North America.
No, you go on your bed.
So it is okay. No, but going probably you can't think people speak about to do music again, but it's always had this discussion with Brethren again, Randy, and not by the man who used to drink. I used to always say it used to be so weird that alcohol legal. How can adults in Barbados know alcohol legal and the boy got a problem with that? Want to know what's alcohol and it be okay? Marijuana could heal a million things. Left it illegal. Alcohol, you never got to explain it. Don't got to articulate what alcohol is. That ain't nothing the boy should touch. But it's okay. The only boy got a problem with alcohol is sluggy. It cool. Alcohol can sell and advertise on the radio stations because it's making enough money. It can advertise on TVs because it's bringing millions of dollars, and all of we good with it. And if it's because of against it, no, like it be beer issues, people will actually DM me or call me offices to meetings, telling me stop bashing alcohol, bro, or tell me, listen, things that you on alcohol is paying for it. People will tell me that. People will never say, Sluggy, you know what, Sluggy, you're right, alcohol in there, we should push. People never tell me that.
I agree with you, though.
No, because we had this conversation, so things that are wrong to us.
I agree.
We never again disagree on things that are, especially when it comes to children. Because that's saying that you and they share the passion for. And like I said, the problems you have with bashment, I totally understand.
Right.
Which is problems that I can't say you have because you know what it stands for. Right. And they got problems with many things too, but it's also a solutions-oriented person.
And that's where we need to be.
So let's go there now. Where can we go? What's the way forward with respect to bashment music? With all that we've been exposed to this evening, we've understood how music changes, how it has evolved, and genres can evolve. Yes. We have to say that we've seen it live and direct right here. What do we do now with bashment?
I'm gonna hand over to Barry to let Barry answer that first, and you come around the panel as we wrap up. Your thoughts, Barry, on how we move forward.
Good segue, Sluggy boy. You sound half foolish.
And we can expand this conversation further and get your callers, right, to see a different perspective.
That's right.
I think honestly the way forward is to give it time. That's the honest truth. Let's see what the competition has to offer this year. It's the first year. I'm really happy that Crop Over is back, to tell the truth. So let's see where the competition has to offer. Let's see what the young people, where their creative minds are at. And then perhaps we can have a discussion after that to see how it has gone after the first year. That would be my solution for the way forward for the new competition and 2022 with the so-called competition, junior competition.
Yeah. I think there's a big space for education in this area, and this discussion tonight would have really started that process in a real meaningful way, because there's a lot of ignorance that exists when it comes to music and our history and the connection between music history. I know even was for I said dance as well.
Yeah,
because the old jump down and the walk up, people have a lot of issues with that. But I also understand that is a historical. There's a historical perspective to that as well. So you need a lot more education. You need a lot more sessions like this. A lot more engaging, practical sessions that people can tune into. People can give their feedback, and that we can connect with the people out there. And it is not above the heads of the average person, but at the level that everybody can understand.
Well, I think I can say this here, because in the secret, I have the privilege, have been ambassador for the Junior Monarch, which includes Local Monarch, Bashment Soca, and Calypso, and is all people who would associate me with positive things for the youth. And if I am indeed the what do you title? Ambassador?
Yes.
If I am indeed the ambassador, and unless you all is just being fair with me, you know what I mean? They don't see the issue. Unless you all be fair.
But in closing, I would want to say that I think we need to give it a chance. I will maintain again, I cannot see the NCF allowing the child to be lewd and crude on stage. I think we need to open our minds and look at bashment culture and recognize that there's an informal context, and bashment soca as a genre is something completely different. Yes, we do have some level of association. We do have some person in the comments mentioning that the connotation is something to be considered, because children will associate the genre with the informal culture, right? And I do take that point. But I do believe we need to give the children a chance to be creative, allow them to express themselves in a positive way, because that is what the NCF will be championing, right? They'll be asking for positive, right? Through the workshops, we're going to see a lot of things coming. I really believe that the writers are going to really challenge some of the mainstream guys in terms of what is going to come out in terms of the writing these songs for this competition. I want to thank the Facebook commentators, the YouTube commentators, Andre Petit. You've been asking some high science questions here, my man, going into frequencies and saying the frequencies recorded at the wrong frequencies was for here 440, and it really should be 432. I showed Stefan the comment, and Stefan said he too high for me. So Andre here making some serious points, bro. So we're gonna have another conversation on that. I will hand over to Denise for her final comments, and thank everyone for participating. Thanks to the band as well. Mr. Steve Ward on drums. Thanks to David Haynes for for his contribution on the bass and also making a contribution to the discussion. And Dr. Stefan Walker, who had to step out. I will hand over to Denise now for her closing.
I just want to thank all of you for being a part of our audience. Those of you who've watched via Facebook, those of you who've watched via YouTube. We want to thank our panelists. We want to thank Fabian and Randy for this excellent idea. Sluggy, Stefan, Barry.
Good job, man. Great job.
You dropped in late.
I got also so say the Hunger Roundtable is actually me and Sluggy's idea.
That's okay.
But the conversation was sparked from Fabian.
Yes,
correct.
yes.
He already got beat up today.
Thank all of you. I think that this has really been an interesting discussion. And as Fabian said, we need to have some more of these interactions. I think we need to give our young people some support and some credit, especially as they get involved in this competition this year. And even those who may not be involved in the competition, but they're interested in exploring the music. I think we just need to work with them. I think that we have to understand that our culture is dynamic. It's going to change. It's not going to be just bashment now. 10 years from now, maybe even 5 years, there'll be a new genre which the older people will be frowning on, and then eventually they will accept it, as has happened. We can be the older people, as has been the history with respect to culture and change. So thank you so much. I think we've learned a lot. I've certainly learned a lot this evening. Yes. We have a lot to stew our juices on, and let's take this forward with a whole spirit of positivity. So thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we will see you sometime soon.
Boom. All right, get that done. We end this broadcast. Stop sharing. Exit full screen. All right, peoples. All right, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Have a great morning. Have a great morning. Have a great morning. Big up my Facebook peoples. Big up my Twitter peeps. And big up my YouTube peeps. Enough love. Remember to visit Gainar.com, GINE.com, and vote for Vehicle to Greatness for Podcast of the Year. I know we put in the work, we put in the hard work, get every morning early, and most mornings early, you know what I mean, and give people a nice, fun, loving vibe. So please visit Gainar.com, GINE.com, and vote for BIM Got Talent, Vehicle to Greatness Morning Show for Podcasts of the Year. And then you can vote for Sluggy Dan for Activist of the Year, Radio Personality of the Year, and Social Media Personality of the Year. I want to thank you all so much for that. Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.